me to good things. You are successful. You can do this. You deserve this. You're a leader. You're worthy. You are kind and generous. I am abundant to all that I do. I can change anything, and I can do this. With Empowered in Heels.
Audio Jungle.
Hello everyone, welcome to Empowered in Heels. I'm so delighted with our guest today. I've actually gone to their venue. It's an amazing historic place, hidden gem, and honestly it's something that you need to go and experience, and it's a great place for weddings, any gathering. If you have a girls night or a girls weekend that you're around that area and you want to book a little venue there, it's a fabulous outing. It has an indoor location, lounge, and an outdoor location that you really have to go and check it out. So I'd like to invite Susan Fischer-Avni. She is an amazing person that we just connected. I was doing a photo shoot for the magazine, and we were looking for venues for weddings. I know Biz and Fashion doesn't do too much to weddings, but we want to help local industries and businesses out there that were triggered from the COVID. So we noticed that weddings had a major fluctuation. So we wanted to kind of assist a lot of venues that haven't been doing weddings, and everything was a stop because of COVID. So I'm so delighted to have Susan Fischer-Avni here. She is a marketing professional in which she switched gears from business to her own personal business, which is in weddings and booking venues and events and planning and all that. So she was doing that for a while from 2017, and then she came across this beautiful, lovely, historic place in Peterborough, which everyone knows I moved to Durham, so I'm always looking for little hidden gems because it's not something that's known to everyone, and you kind of have to know by other people, and they tell you, go check out this place, right? So we came across Susan, and then I contacted her to check out her location for a photo shoot, and she was so kind, and she said, sure, come on down. I saw the beautiful red door, but I didn't know what to expect. So when I got there, it was gorgeous, like the architectural detail, the historic beams, the wooded beams that you have there is amazing. So after her looking at her bio, she has done so many weddings for 200 plus weddings. She was looking for something to do after her corporate. So she found this beautiful location, and it's a historic church. Has beautiful stained glass windows. We'll tell you more about it. And she started doing wedding events there, and unfortunately COVID hit. I think she's on her, I think the cathedral that she purchased has been 3 years now. And I'd like to introduce you to Susan Fischer-Avni so she can tell you more about herself and what she does and how she came across this location, and it has been affected with the COVID. The pros and the cons, and how she's pivoted that, and we want to support local, and right now is the time that we live in Canada, so we should be purchasing Canadian products, purchasing small business products, trying to support the local that continue our economy in Canada. This is how we can get through this. It's almost going into our second year, which I really wish we didn't have to go there, but we have to stick together and keep it going and look at the positives. You know, it's giving us time to reflect and build and get stronger. So think of that. So welcome, Susan. Welcome to Empowered in Heels, which our show is about empowering women and businesses out there. I'm so delighted to have you as our guest.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. It was amazing to meet you last year and have you guys come out and do a photo shoot. I've actually been in the wedding business since 2011. I started out doing a very small niche rental product. And from doing that, now I'm running 2 rental companies, niche rental companies in the GTA. And I'm also running the venue, the Millbrook Cathedral in Millbrook, Ontario, which is in Peterborough County. What struck me so much about this particular place was that in doing rentals, you see every single venue in the city. I've seen every venue, east, west, north of Toronto. And when I saw Millbrook Cathedral, I knew there was nothing like it. First of all, it is a 150-year-old United Church, which is very unique in itself. And it has so much character, and it's also in this really cute town. One of the things that is a big problem when you go and you have a wedding at a venue is that you might have to move from your hotel to your venue to an after party. This is not what I wanted. I knew from going to all these venues that this is a problem. So I really wanted an all-in-one type of place. And this building had everything I needed. The bride can come with her mom and with her girls, get dressed. The guys have their own room to get ready. Afterwards, they can have a ceremony outside or a ceremony inside in the grand chapel, the one you were talking about with the stained glass windows. Go downstairs for cocktail in the Millbrook Lounge, which is a really cool spot with exposed brick walls and an Instagram feature wall that I had made by an artist. And then go back upstairs. We switch the room and party time. And having it in a small town also gives people the advantage of, lots of green space for pictures later. They also go to the historic main downtown and take pictures outside the barber shop and things like that. It's different, it's unique, and it really has a fairy tale vibe that I love.
I agree. It reminded me of being in a cottage setting because you had that wooded stone fireplace. It's so green. It's like something that honestly, like a bed and breakfast that you're away in a cottage, beautiful surroundings, gorgeous place. So I did fall in love with the place, and I'd love to have done something, but you know what? Let's say we're going to do it in the future. Keep positive, right?
Yeah, certainly. We have enough space for a major fashion show, that kind of thing when COVID lifts. What's nice about the venue is that, I asked for a capacity of 150 in that place. It could probably fit more like 210, but I'm big about the dance floor, so we asked for 150. But even back when we first started our first packages, I created something called a micro wedding package. And the reason why I created that, even though there was no real, COVID, no one knew about COVID, is because I can see in other countries, namely Australia, is extremely popular for these so-called micro weddings. And what it basically meant at the time was an all-inclusive wedding package for a small group of people. You come in, you don't have to do anything as the couple, everything is ready for you. You go in, get married, have a good time, you're out of there. And this was really appealing to a lot of my clients because many of my customers are maybe a little bit older, they already have kids, they already have a career, they already have a house. Marriage is the last thing that they've been waiting for, and they're not the Pinterest type. They're not going to sit there and start choosing every little color, so they're happy to have us do it. So that package became popular off the get-go. With COVID, it became the only choice. And because we were so accustomed to running these types of weddings, we just easily slid into that and were able to make it work. And in fact, we had a fantastic year, stressful because we were worried about everybody. but we still had a good year, thank goodness.
That's amazing to hear. I think it's because it's such a secluded place, and it's you have the space to have people in there with that distance that's required.
Yeah.
And outdoors, which is a bonus on top of that. So you have like 3 locations. You have the Cathedral where you can be married,
Yeah.
and then afterwards you can go downstairs, do the indoor lounge, which is spacious, and then afterwards you can go outside and take pictures and enjoy outside, you know, stay even for a little. I don't know if you do fires there, but it would be a great place to just hang out there with the fire afterwards.
I think in the fall we brought heaters for one family, and the government has a lot of really nice solutions to help, and one of the solutions they have is they've pretty much given all venues and restaurants the ability to expand their patios. So we were able to serve alcohol outside this year, which actually was so successful that I applied for a permanent outdoor liquor license and they gave it to us. So some things have opened our eyes. I mean, there are definitely a lot of bad things about COVID, but from a business perspective, we learned how to react very quickly, and we were able to get very close with our municipality and get some, you know, opportunities for things like the outdoor patio. And we were also able to learn a lot more about how to do things very, very quickly. We had one wedding that we had to turn around in 11 days. It happened so many brides, their venue actually could not open. They were not in the position that we were in. To open their doors would mean losing money from the second they opened. You know, it just couldn't do it. So, you know, this happened to this particular bride. The venue said, I'm sorry, we just cannot open for 25 people. It doesn't make sense. So she called us, 11 days, we turned a wedding around.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, have the venue for it. That's the bonus part of it, right?
And the team, you know, it's all about the team too.
And the team, right? So with your journey, is this something that you thought you would do? Like, would you have thought that you would have bought a beautiful cathedral, historic cathedral? Is this
Never in a million years. Like a Hallmark movie, you know? She goes to a small town, she buys an inn. No, I was in the business-to-business world for, I don't want to say how many years to put my age on me, but a lot. And I loved it. I learned a lot. I was in marketing, I was in PR, but it was all business to business. Then at my own wedding, my husband started doing the shopping around for a specific piece of decor that we needed for our background. And he found them to be ugly and he found them to be expensive. So he made one. I'm very lucky. He's a very, very handy guy. He made one, and people started asking us where we got it. Can they borrow it? Can they rent it? And then he said, you know what? Open up a website and see what you can do with this thing. And from day one, it took off. That's prompted me into a secondary business of another niche rental piece. And very quickly, I started to care less and less about my corporate job. It's harder to get excited about making money for somebody else.
It is so true. I started part-time myself, and then because I don't know, myself, you're so dedicated, and you notice how much time you put into someone else's work, and when you start getting revenue for yourself, you said, working for this other person when I can be working for myself, right?
Yeah, I mean, the big difference between working for yourself is the main difference, but a huge difference of working in corporate and working in weddings is that when I was asking people to spend money, I wasn't asking them to spend their own money. They were spending a budget of a company. They weren't emotionally involved. This is all about it being emotionally involved. So it's more, I think you're more engaged. You get to know your customer better. And the creativity is there every day. You always have to think of creative ideas, either when it comes to scheduling or itineraries or the beauty of the piece. You're always thinking about creativity, which it fuels your soul.
So true, and it's so rewarding, right?
Yeah.
What I love doing about what I do today. So with your journey, I did see some of your husband's workmanship at the I went to, and I was so impressed. Like even the wooded tables, the back you had benches at the backs outside
Mhm.
the cathedral. It was so beautiful. So those are the things that you rent out. Even the canopy that you had at the wedding venue. What are those called?
Yeah, that's what I focus on. I focus on two different types of canopies. One is called a chuppah, which is for a Jewish wedding or a Western wedding in general, and another one is a mandap, which is very specific to Hindu weddings. So the chuppah is, I've been marketing it for 10 years as something everybody should have. It's not a religious piece. What it means really, it's four posts with a canopy. All the sides have to be open, and it represents the openness that your home will have in the future, that everyone is always welcome into my home. It's the first home that you guys have together when you're standing under saying your vows. So you don't have to be religious to have it. You certainly don't have to be Jewish to have it, because it has a beautiful message for everybody. And we do weddings for every background, every mix, every gender, it's just incredible how we're going around doing these for everybody, outdoor, indoor. So yeah, we have many different kinds. And then for the Hindu weddings, they're big. They're huge, they're colorful, there's lots of flowers on them. It's really fun. It's so fun.
Well, I did love them. Honestly, we got to do some nice pictures, and we featured them in the magazine. I should have tagged you for that item, because they are gorgeous. Honestly, a lot of people can have them in their backyard just for themselves and have photos. And as you said, it's a great meaning for a home. So with all that, so I see your passion. I see your drive. Did this always ignite in you? Was this always in you? Did you want to do weddings all the time? Is this something that you grew up with? Is this...
No, really, I fell into it because of that one opportunity, and getting a first of all, pulse that people wanted what we had. Having the marketing background meant that I was able to open this website, and I knew exactly what to do to get it out to the right people. I knew how to service the customers. I think that in general, there's a lot of women that have great ideas. There's no shortage of ideas in the world. The issue is executing it, taking that next step, putting one foot in front of the other. And really with the chuppahs, it was, okay, fine, I'm going to spend, $5 a month on a website, and then everything else is my time. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Because no amount of planning is ever going to make you perfect. You are going to fail. You're going to succeed. The key is to learn through every single stage. Some businesses, the chuppah business didn't take real money to start. It was our blood, sweat, and tears. But some other businesses take some real money to start, and that's scarier. And that's where the Cathedral put us. That was upfront money. And so in addition to having all of our skills and all of our passion, you really had to have the guts to put your money where your mouth is.
So true. And in a little town in which sometimes going into a town and not knowing the surroundings, you have to build that network and that community, right? So you have to affiliate with other business owners, get that confidence or that courage to come and meet you, or that networking to come and see, okay, maybe we can use this venue. I've noticed that with Durham. You need to build that surrounding so people will be attracted and come and trust you, right? So it's
I'm not local to there, so I have made some really, really good connections. We've gotten really close with our municipality, which, if anybody, people ask me all the time, because they see it's a unique thing, buying a historical property and turning it into a commercial property. It's really complicated. So people ask me all the time, and my first piece of advice is always get to know your county clerk. There's no more important person than your county clerk when it comes to these sorts of things. You think wedding, you think it's all glamour, but it's really, you're down to I'm meeting with the fire chief. I'm meeting with the environmental agency because we have that forest in the back with the stream. So, there's things like that that you don't think about. It's not always glamour, that's for sure. As you know, in fashion, it's not always glamour.
Yes, that's one thing we go through every day. And, with photo shoots, you saw it. Like, we were like, pulling things in, carrying and stuff like that. It's always but it's so rewarding when you're doing it for you. And I think that's where you get that reward back, right? And then fulfilling people's dreams, because that's what you're doing by doing these weddings, is fulfilling other people's dreams and having that day so memorable that they can look back to and say, oh, wow, when we passed by that church and remember that first day that we got married. So I think that's so rewarding itself. And just the architectural, like, you really need to have a sight of eyes that love detail. And the place is so detailed that everything, even the doorknob, even the door itself, it's so historic. You could tell the stair is going up. The way they did it, that you can have the dress flow from the stair. If you have a long train, you can have it actually be part of that door, right? The way they did the architecture for it. So I love it. And then on top of that, when we did the photo shoot, you have people driving by and they're honking and we're doing a photo shoot.
Every single wedding that happens.
Well, I love that. The community support that you have, that, people driving by, they're honking away, congratulating people. So it's so exciting. So I'm going to go to a break. We have a little surprise for you. We have a mini video of the location, so you will see what we're talking about, and you'll be wanting to go check out this place. If you're not getting married, I think you could probably book tours one day too, right? Do you do that at all?
Yeah, we book venue tours for people that want to rent. Yeah. Right now we can't do walk-ins, but maybe eventually we will be able to, yes.
Yeah, that would be a great other pivoting point right there, like booking a tour to come in and check it out with the kids and see how historic this building is. It's not a one-off, like, it's not an event that you would go to every day. It would be a drive to an experience and look at all the detail of the work. And honestly, when I went there, I fell in love, because just the stonework, and you felt like you were in a little cabin. We had so much fun. Like, honestly, the girls, the models I had there, and the makeup artists, I said, this is such a cute place. It's one of a kind. So you got to experience it.
People are often shocked at how big it is, too.
It's
very, like, why is this big, amazing place in the middle of nowhere? Why? Well, there's a huge history behind this town, which is interesting to dig into, and left us with this amazing opportunity.
This is amazing. So we are going to be back in Empowered in Heels. We are going to feature the mini video that we have put in place, and we will be back. See you soon. So hello everyone, we are back on Empowered in Heels with Susan, and I am so delighted you got to see the video. You must have said, wow, I got to go check out this place, or if I have a wedding, let's book it. You know, contact her for sure, because this is what we're trying to do, is empower each other and help businesses that are in Canada. So Susan, tell me, if I asked you to pinpoint, after that video, if I asked you to pinpoint one place in that location that would be your favorite, which one would that be?
That is tough. I have 3 favorite spots, and they all are my favorite for different reasons. I mean, the main chapel is just breathtaking in its beams and its light and its stained glass windows, and then the lounge is really cool with the Victorian couches, exposed brick and that whole thing. And then the outside has that whole country rustic vibe. It's really hard for me to choose, honestly.
You know what I found about your location is that you had the historic stained glass window, which is so rewarding. And then when you go downstairs, you felt like it was like a little Victorian,
like a pub. Like a pub, kind of what I was going for. Yeah.
Something like for a loungy place that you could sit down and enjoy a glass of wine or champagne and enjoy it there with the fire. And I fell in love. Even the dressing rooms were so...
Well, the dressing room is... You're asking about favorites. Well, not. I don't know if it's my favorite, but that's the place I spent the most time deliberating over. Every single piece in there I chose personally. I had a specific vision for what I wanted that dressing room to look like, and I wanted to look like over-the-top princess.
I honestly felt it when I was there. I was so rewarded to hang up my gowns and have the space to hang them and not have them dangling on the floor, because you have it like totally to T, because you knew like people have long gowns, and a lot of places that I've gone to fold them over, so they were perfect there. And then just having the girls sit there and then have the gowns right there that they can try on, put their makeup on. It was so cute. And then afterwards we sat down and had some cupcakes.
Yeah.
So like a pre-wedding dinner get together before you go out with the girls to do the wedding style. So I loved it. Honestly, it's a one of a kind place. Even if you're doing a wedding, a baby shower, a girls' night, you know, any birthday parties, I would even do.
We've had several birthday parties where they do the whole thing downstairs in the lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very versatile. That place was used a lot as a music venue previous to us, because the acoustics are so good. Mm-hmm. So hopefully when we get rolling again, we'll be able to get a lot more musical type nights in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I'm really looking forward to.
Yes, I see that. And you have the space for it too, for people or just entertain. Such a beautiful place. So this is located in Peterborough County.
Yes.
And it's the Millbrook Cathedral, right?
Mm-hmm.
And did you ever, like, as a historic building, do you have do you have to get licensed to do any renovations or upgrade anything? I know there's a big historic value on a property and what you can do and what you can't do. Is that a major issue?
Well, this property has never been officially designated as a historical property. So there are some things that we are allowed to do because of that. But even though we're allowed to do them, some of the things are just impossible. Just because the building was built in 1882, and we still have those bones to work with. So, for example, one drawback is that we can never be wheelchair accessible. That's just not going to happen. We cannot put an elevator. We can't put ramps. The building just cannot support that. And, you know, normally you would have to have that in a industrial space. But we have some leeway because we are who we are, because we have this age behind us. However, the land that's behind us, our forest, is designated conservation land. That's where we have a lot of fingers in every single plan that we have. Even when it came to our parking lot, which I learned, parking lots are a major deal. Huge. It took 10 months, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, it's crazy. Because the water has to run a certain way, and this is the kind of stuff that you have to deal with when you're dealing with conservation land. The historical part of it has been a little bit easier. Probably the biggest issue from a historical perspective is that the brickwork that's outside, those bricks were made at a mill in Peterborough County 150 years ago. So, and along the way, people have replaced the brick in ways that they shouldn't, using modern materials and people that were not familiar with historical buildings. So this is causing us to have to go through and replace brick by brick where the problems are. And so we had to go around, well, this again, it comes back to relationships. We made good relationships with people in town. We had to go to every single person in town who had a historical house and ask them if they had a pile of bricks sitting somewhere. Luckily, many of them did. They took down their garage at once upon a time, or they took down a chimney once upon a time, and they still had that pile. So brick by brick, we were taking it from their backyard into my car so that the mason can move it. And the mason had to be a very specific type of mason. So you have to have patience with a historical building, and you have to have some respect for it too.
Yeah, I understand that totally.
Yeah.
And you know what? You've done a fabulous job. Honestly, it's one of a kind. I was in awe. My photographer was in awe. Do another shoot there. So once things get up, hopefully we can do something again. But with all that, I would like you to empower other women that are watching as an entrepreneur. What would you give as a message out there for people, women that are out there that want to start a business and are stuck or in fear, because that's what keeps us from leaving our day-to-day job or whatsoever? What is an empowerment statement that you can give them today?
I would say that the most important thing is truly to put one foot in front of the other and just start. Whatever that starting point means for you, just start. I learned from a great teacher that we're so focused on the end result. You know, I'm going to open my shop, I'm going to open my venue, whatever that end result is, that we don't enjoy the little victories along the way. And sometimes they're not always victories. Sometimes they're failures that teach you something, but you have to kind of take it for what it is, turn it around, and then it becomes a victory. Because if you keep saying, you know, I will be successful when, you will never be successful, because the one day it's so out there. And if you just focus on that one day, your life just passes you by. So enjoy every little victory along the way. That's one thing. My secondary message specifically for women is to choose your life partner wisely. Being an entrepreneur, a mother, a wife can be extremely challenging to a family. So you have to make sure that whoever you're with lifts you up. And they get that you have to be independent. This is part of who you are, for the good and the bad. If you're extremely lucky, you're also with a person who's very entrepreneurial too, so they get it. Just being an entrepreneurial woman comes with additional challenges, and who you choose to travel this path with makes all the difference in the world.
I agree. I agree much, because you want someone to bring you up when you have those down days, and you want to empower them when they have their down days, and not give you that negativity to stop, right? Because you have it in you and you have this drive, and if you don't have this partner that's going to support you to push you through, you know, you get frustrated, right? So I totally agree on that.
Yeah, plus it's not a 9-to-5 job, you know.
No.
Especially with weddings. It's all evenings and weekends for the most part. I mean, the marketing stuff happens during the week, but the client stuff and the running around, it's evenings and weekends. So, you know, during the summer, I might not be around any weekend. Mm-hmm. They want to go to the cottage, the family. Well, they're going to have to go without me, and my husband will have to be okay with that. The kids will have to be okay with that. So you do need to have the support system around you that understands that, you know, you're not doing any of this stuff because you're selfish. This is who you are.
Yeah, I think it's every entrepreneur. They think it's freedom, but you know what? If you're a good entrepreneur, you really want to set the bar. And
Yeah.
every client that you touch lives with, right? So you want to give them the 110 satisfaction so that they can come back to you, and then they can refer you to other people, because one bad word trickles through. You do not want that. And you know what? If people know you, they know what's fake and what's real. So that's where you can determine. But I totally agree. Like, as a business owner, I always want to give 100% to my clients. You know, even if I can give more, I can do that. And sometimes I don't sleep at night just to get that 110% satisfaction. Me, it's my fault. Right?
It's interesting that you said about the bad word, because it's so easy for clients now to leave negative reviews. It's harder to get the positive. You know, even though you do so much more positive work, people are more likely to write negative. And so a lot of the newer entrepreneurs, they're scared. They're scared of bad reviews, and they give up all their power. They want to get the business, they want to get the good review, and they don't value their time as much as they should. If somebody gives you a bad review, if it's legitimate, apologize, learn from it, move on. If it's not legitimate, listen, what can you do? You just got to move on. You just got to move on.
Yeah, I agree. Don't let that bring you down. It's like someone shutting the door. Don't stop. Because if you have it in you, and you have this gut feeling that it's going to work out, it's going to work out. It may not be today, it may not be next year, but it will be there, as long as you keep that strive and that focus that you want to accomplish what you want to.
Yeah, luckily for us, our clients have been overwhelmingly positive. I've never had to deal with any negativity online, but certainly I would tell anyone, don't let that scare you.
So true. Even if you have a bad experience, sometimes you can't cope with COVID right now. Shipping was a major issue at the beginning of the year, because no one had the inventory. They weren't expecting this. They didn't. A lot of people buy outsourced items, and things were all in halt. Even Winners, you experienced it if you went to a Winners. They didn't have anything in their stores. So as a small business owner, how were you going to compete with a big box store, right? So these are things that you need to take and learn and move onwards, right? And you know what? Everyone can strive through it, and we all are learning. Basically, last year was a learning tool for everyone, and it's just dealing with it and continuing onwards and finding solutions, right?
Absolutely.
So, like you mentioned. So what can you tell is your statement or your mission for the Millbrook Cathedral?
Business-wise, I would love us to be booked every single weekend, every single Saturday for sure, all throughout the year, because that place needs to be alive. It needs people in there to bring it to life. When I go there to do tours now, and I know that there's no weddings happening for quite some time, it's sad. We need life in there. So I want to see weddings happening constantly. I want to see musical events happening in there, because that's what it was built for, the acoustics, everything. More film shoots. We do a lot of movies in Millbrook. Actually, it's funny. It's a small town that stands in for a lot of turn of the century films. So more movies in there. Eventually, I would love to move closer to my baby. I'm very lucky because I have a wedding planner that I work with that's local, so she's able to be there a lot and meet with the clients, but I would like to be closer to it if I could. That's not in the cards now with kids going to school and everything. So that's kind of my vision.
And I love your vision, because it's going to be true. It's going to come. It's going to be so busy that you're going to say, wow, I need to get a full team in place. We
have an amazing team. That's the best part. Everyone local, everyone's working, everyone's excited. I I would like to be there more. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, if I asked you one question, is there a time in your life that you would like to turn back time? Like, would you say, oh boy, what did I get into? Or
No, so this is on my mind because I just sent my daughter off to university for the first time. So I regret that I didn't go away for university. Honestly, I didn't realize how much I regretted it until I was sending her away and we were talking about my university experience and why didn't I go? Well, I didn't go because I was getting pressure from my father and my boyfriend at the time. What a stupid reason not to do something. So I missed out, I think, on a great opportunity to learn, to grow, to meet new people. And that's what's on my mind lately, is that I wish I did that.
yeah, and you know what? You're never too old to do that again. Schooling is always something I can do, but yeah, sometimes we're honest with our parents as to why you're gonna, like my mom says, oh, you're a designer, you do clothing, you deal with clothing, is that gonna, you're an entrepreneur, you don't have a 9 to 5 anymore, how are you gonna survive, those negativities. But honestly, yeah, if you can live your dream, do it, right?
Yeah, I loved the university. I have a couple of degrees. I loved the learning. I just think that I missed out on the adventure and the social, living by myself. I really never lived by myself because, that's kind of what I regret. So there's a lot of things I didn't get to do in my 20s. I definitely made up for it later. The traveling and the adventure and the entrepreneurship, it all came a little bit later, but I got there.
Yeah. So that's what we always do, get to where we want to get to eventually.
Yeah.
So I'm glad she's taking that big step, and it's a hard thing for moms, right? To have them move out, right?
I think if we had a normal year where she went to prom, we had a graduation, and she packed up and went in September, I think we would have been fine. But because we've been together day in, day out since March, and I only sent her now in January, I'm feeling a little bit, I'm feeling it. And, but I'm so happy for her. For her to be able to spread her wings and fly is just so exciting for a mother.
I think that's a big reward right there, because that's where they develop and they take your core base that you've given them and move on and fly, as you mentioned, and they're fly okay, right?
Yeah, and then there's also for me, where there's a source of pride that I'm able to send her. That over the last many years I was saving, and this was my goal, my dream, and she's there, and I'm floating it, and that makes me happy.
That's a big reward right there, mommy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love all what you do, and just of your story and your accomplishments, and you and your husband doing things together. It's such a reward to see partnership, because that's a big, major partnership together.
Huge.
And that support, right? Because you do need that support to keep going, because every day is something new. As an entrepreneur, you learn something every day. You deal with something every day. You need to support, juggle things. You're multitasking. You're doing it all, right? So I love that. Can you give one advice to women out there as to how they can get is it every day that you guys agree on as a couple working together?
Yeah.
What do you do to cope sometimes? Because a lot of people right now with COVID are not in their home together. So it's caused a big fluctuation of separation divorces. So I want to just gear towards one advice from you as having a spouse and working together, and what works well with you, and if you can give that to other people so that they can use as their example.
Well, I think you need to know, first of all, what your strengths are and what your partner's strengths are, and then make a division of labor. He doesn't get involved in marketing or sales or brides or design or any of that stuff, because number one, he doesn't want to, and that's not his background. He will deal with the fire chief, and he'll deal with the electrician, and he'll deal with the bank, and that's fine. He's the one who has to labor over QuickBooks, not me. Like we both don't have our hands in the same task. It's not necessary. I trust him completely. He trusts me completely, and it's better that way. If I'm struggling with a decision, I'll go to him, and I know that he'll give me good advice, or vice versa. But we don't have to. We're not working together. Now, having said that, when we're doing the renovations and stuff like that, of course, like he'll be doing the bulk of it, but I'm always kind of the helper. And so when he's telling me what to do, bring this pile here or go get this, then we kind of sometimes get into a thing. Just two strong people, because I have to let him be the boss in that situation because he's the one who knows what he's doing. That's his division. If I want him to design a hookah for me, he doesn't question me. What do you want? Because he knows that's my part, right? So I say a clean division of labor makes a huge difference. The other thing too, and it's hard to do when you work from home. Like normally not during COVID, he's not here. He's in Ottawa 4 days a week. We have other businesses going on there, so we have our time apart. But now we're together all the time. So you have to set a cutoff where like work ends at, I don't know, whatever time. Sometimes it's late, but like make a cutoff. We're not talking about work anymore today.
Yeah.
That's it. We're done.
Those are great tips because sometimes, it's a give and take as a relationship. So you know what your boundaries are in what aspect he specializes in and what you specialize in, which is great. And then, if you need that support, you can go to him and you know that he will help you through dates. So, and set boundaries, set cutoff dates, time for business because you still have a life too, right? So I find those really rewarding tips. Thank you, because I know it's happening now these days and you're seeing so many people together more. Even our kids are together more, and which I love myself. But, sometimes it's a trial and error, right? It's just that adjustment. And now we're going to the second kind of quarter. So let's see where that goes. So where can we find you?
So I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I have a website. I'm everywhere. So it's at Millbrook Cathedral on Instagram, and millbrookcathedral.com is the website.
Okay, amazing. We will also put it down. I would love to thank you for being one of our guests on Empowered in Heels because you truly are an empowering woman.
Thank you.
Your tips, those are such rewarding tools for other women to use for their future. So one thing that I really love that you mentioned is don't stop. Don't, start doing it. Don't get that fear in you. Just do it and see where it goes and take those small steps and reward yourself and say, wow, what an accomplishment. And if there is a time that you said it didn't go well, just keep on going or try it again or try it differently. Don't give up, right? That's what I see a lot of entrepreneurs do. They put everything in one bag. They put so much money into their business. And then afterwards, in a year's time, it's down, it's gone, and they give up. And they could have gone through. So just giving that hope right now. So thank you. I am blessed to have met you. God sends me people for a reason, and I thought of you, and I said, I got to put her on the show because we just connected so well, and I fell in love with your place. So,
oh, thank you. I hope we can do something again, bigger and better.
Yes, much bigger and better, and yes, for sure. And I'm sending you lots of hope and love, and you know what? You keep doing what you're doing, and it's right. You had a great year, right?
Yes.
It'll be better. It will be double that.
Yes. Thank you. You too. Have a good day, Suzy. Thanks for everything.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.
Follow us on Empowered in Heels at TV Chaar on TV Chaar. They are an amazing family of media entertainment. Follow their other shows. Support each other. We are local, and this is what we want to do, and we want to empower you to the next level. So if you would like to be a guest on Empowered in Heels, please contact me, Suzy Tamasy. I'm your TV host. You can contact me on Facebook, Instagram, or under Empowered in Heels. we do have a magazine called Biz and Fashion in which we promote your business. So if you'd like to promote your business, advertise with us. We also have a special with my clothing line. As you know, I have a clothing line. We have our Suzy Q Jewels masks. Donations all go to the women's shelter that we deal with. So these are really affordable, and that can go directly to them. So please get a mask, wear your mask, stay safe, stay home if you can, and stay blessed. Thank you. Thank you for being on Empowered in Heels. See you soon.